Greetings, everyone. Hope all of you are having an absolutely fantastic day. For those of you not aware, the Kickstarter for Starfinder Afterlight just ended. And without question, it has been a massive success. And frankly, the end was just as exciting as the beginning, as they did manage to reach the very last stretch goal. So I want to go ahead and briefly go over it so you have an idea of what we can expect next year when we are able to access at least part of the game. So first, to give you some general details, there were almost 14,000 backers for this Kickstarter project, and they raised nearly 800,000 pounds to help bring this project to life. And keep in mind, the original goal was 75,000. So this did way better than it had to, and that's really exciting. Now, let me also note to remind all of you, the 75K was what was needed to be able to fund what was currently planned in the game, and then the rest of these are stretch goals that for the most part are not going to be in the base version of the game. So basically, they're going to make the game they had already planned to make first, and then they are going to add some of these other things down the line, essentially as additional content. So all of this is not going to be in the game when it first releases to us in 2027, at least from what they've said thus far. You know, maybe the development will go better than what they're expecting, but that's obviously not what we should count on. But getting back to what it is that they mapped out, so we are now going to have access to Skittermanders, Patras, and I think there was one more, Vlakas, as ancestries or races when we play the game. So it's very exciting. I think that brings the total number of ancestries to 10. So I will do a separate video walking through all of the ancestry options and telling you what are the pros and cons, at least based on what we know about the tabletop, so that then we can compare it with how they bring it to life in the game. Now, it is also not only were they getting additional voices, but they also did reach the one that allowed for full voice acting. So there's going to be complete professional voice acting for every NPC, every companion bark, and every narrative moment when someone is supposed to be speaking. Needless to say, that's super exciting. Again, Owlcat is only just now getting to the point that their games are fully voice acted. I think that's going to be a major boon, make it a lot easier for different types of people to get excited about this game, and I'm really happy for Epic Tellers that they were able to reach that point. Now, there was also a stretch goal for additional guest artist portraits and a voice pack, so you should have a lot more portrait options for your character, and there should be some interesting different barks you can use. That's been one aspect of Owlcat games that I've consistently enjoyed, the different options you have for barks. Like, is it going to be, especially a rogue trader, you could choose to be someone who's more heretical or someone who's more dogmatic, and I think all of those quips are really nice. So it should be cool to find out what Epic Tellers comes up with for this particular pack. Now, in addition to all of this, what I find most exciting is that they did add 2 additional classes, which brings the total number of classes the game will have to, I believe, 8. And again, we will do a separate video walking through all those classes, so we have an idea of what to expect when the game releases. But the first one was Technomancer, and this is a prepared spellcaster who overclocks their gear and casts powerful magic hack. Sounds very cool, very interesting. Looking forward to find out what that's about. And then the second one is the Mechanic. Use your exocortex to deploy turrets ships, command drones, or control remote mines while modifying gear on the fly. So basically, I look at it as almost a summoner type character. This might be what I go with on my first run in the game. I'm really excited for it. I honestly did not think the Kickstarter was going to reach this, but so many other people on my channel, Wine Guide, looking at you, they were adamant that no, it's going to make it, and we should be very excited. And you all were right, it did make it, and couldn't be happier. The more classes, the better, as far as I'm concerned. So really cool to see this. Now, some of you might ask, now with the Kickstarter having ended, what is up next? And they do have a timeline. So we've already completed the vertical slice, already had the public reveal. Next up is Q2 2026. We should expect an early access launch. Act 1 is going to release with 10 to 15 hours of gameplay, meet your companions, and explore the Hive market. And we can provide feedback to help shape what the game is going to look like upon full release. And they'll have plenty of time because their expectation is that the full game is not going to be available until 2027. And that's it. That's the full video with everything that we pretty much know right now regarding the Kickstarter. I'm excited. You all already know I'm excited. I love everything Pathfinder related, even games that are not actually CRPGs. I've been covering them like the Abomination Vaults. All right, I'm psyched about Dragon's Demand. Alcat has roped me into pretty much all Paizo products to the point that anything Pathfinder related, anything Starfinder related, I'm going to be all over this. And it really seems like the folks in charge at Epic Tellers are big fans of Starfinder, big fans of that universe, and they plan to try to give us a really faithful reenactment of some of the things that make Starfinder so cool. I've never played the tabletop version of Starfinder, so this is going to be a very new experience for me, and it looks awesome. I think it looks really cool. The only thing that disappoints me about this game, and many of you have mentioned this as well, is that there won't be a co-op option. After playing co-op with many of you during my Rogue Trader live stream and in a couple of other games, I would be really excited to have a co-op experience in something Pathfinder or Starfinder related. But I totally understand their position of, hey, this is our first game. From a technical standpoint, it's complicated trying to ensure that co-op would work. So maybe on the next game, that's something they can look at. But for their first game, they just want to focus on doing this game well and getting it out the door. I totally understand that. I think that's makes complete sense. So absolutely, I support this. I will continue covering it. So if that's the information you want to see, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that like button for me. Let me know you enjoyed the video, hit that bell so you don't miss any future content. And I will see you all in the next video. Take care.